Soloing over a hemiola. So first, let's start off by defining what that term means. In a traditional sense, a hemiola is simply when you're playing 3 beats over 2 beats. That's sort of the classical way of thinking of it. So if I'm playing 2 beats in my bass drum, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then over that I play 3 beats on the snare drum, it sounds like this. So in a traditional sense, that's the definition of a hemiola. I like to use this idea in a much more broader way. So basically, anytime that I am borrowing a grouping from one meter and putting it into another meter, that is my definition of a hemiola. You can generate these ideas simply by combining odd with even or even with odd. For example, if you look on my book on page 50, you'll see that I show some examples. I'm going to start with the top line, and here you can see that in 4/4 time, I'm playing in even quarter notes, 4 quarter notes per measure. That's an even number, but I'm grouping those quarter notes in an odd grouping of 3. So it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I'm going to count through this and do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next example is the same thing. I'm taking an even subdivision of a beat and I'm grouping them in 3. So this gives us 16th notes grouped in 3. So again, I'm going to count off and I'll count through it. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so you can see that I'm developing these ideas of implying a borrowed meter over the meter that's my primary meter. Now let's go to the opposite. We're going to take an odd grouping, 8th note triplets, and we're going to group those in an even grouping, groupings of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Now, a very common hemiola idea in jazz is taking the 8th note and grouping them in groupings of 3. So I'm going to demonstrate that. That's the second from the last line on page 50. Let's take a look at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it as it's written, and then I'm going to play the idea where I'm just going to play the accented part of that. So I'm combining that and making it into simply the accented part of that rhythm. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So the videos that follow will demonstrate how you can place these hemiola ideas in different parts of the form section to highlight form consideration. And again, you want to think of the tune that you're playing. Oftentimes a bebop tune will have these hemiola ideas sort of built into the melody. So if that's the case, then that's a good place to incorporate this idea of soloing over a hemiola. Perhaps you just do it in the A sections. In the B sections, you play open. So in the tune Olio, the famous tune by Sonny Rollins, we're going to demonstrate how you can apply a hemiola based on the melodic ideas of that tune over the A sections.